All right. And welcome back to another exciting episode of the Planet Gen X podcast. I'm Sean. That over there is Brian.
What's up?
And back again with us is our good buddy, Joel.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, man. Always glad to have you back.
Always.
Yeah, glad to have both of you back. So here we are again for another not exciting episode of Acolyte. A major letdown, man. I mean, geez, what a hose job. I mean, just let's just take a little bit of episode 3 and sprinkle in a couple more scenes, and boom, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot to unpack in this episode, so I already know. We talked to Joel a little bit beforehand. I already know he's got a lot of different stuff to talk about. And there's a lot to unpack. You wouldn't think so, right? Yeah. Because we've seen it all before. But yeah, there's still...
Because it's boring.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. But yeah. So, yeah, but before we get to that, guys...
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're a growing channel. If you like what you see, throw us a subscription. All it costs is a click. And those clicks translate into more Planet Gen X content. I know Sean has been talking about maybe the old podcast format, mixing it up here and there. We want to do one of those at some point, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Joel, do you have any content you're interested in?
I suppose to. Yeah, sure. I do. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe some of the stuff that Joel is interested in. I'm not going to put you in the spot like that, just asking. So look out for more content and keep those subs coming.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Yeah, you know, it costs nothing to do, so it helps us out a lot. Really appreciate it, guys. Acolyte, what can you say? I mean, we hit it all. The Rashomon, everything. And it was rough as far as Rashomon goes, even. I mean, it was a stretch in many, many ways. As usual, you know, I don't know. For me, it was just that everything we saw, I thought was going to be totally different than it was. It was so much more of a letdown. Like, you know, I didn't think May started the fire. I thought surely there was some like big...
There was a firefight!
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, dude, honestly. So what we learned from that is they still have no idea how fire works at all. It was stuff like that. I mean, it was just like, these guys are on the planet 7 weeks and they don't know what's going on. And Mother Anastasia even says, you know, I find it hard to believe, you know, that the Jedi are unaware or something like that, you know, something to that effect. And I was like, yes, I have the same, that's the same hard to believe or whatever, you know, I just can't fathom that, man. These are Jedi. And y'all
just keep showcasing it, right?
Yeah, they've just made them seem so stupid. Ah, yeah. I mean, you see, it gets me so worked up. I can't even talk straight, man.
Right.
But it's just like how not hard do you have to try? How hard do you have to go out of your way to not do good writing? I mean, we're seeing it with Doctor Who. We're seeing it now with this show. I mean, Doctor Who just finished their last 2 episodes recently, right? And I heard that it was horrible. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched them all.
It's bad.
All been negative. Yeah.
Don't forget about Star Trek now. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I mean,
we're just glad to be done with that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And it didn't even come on the level. To me, like Doctor Who and Acolyte are on some kind of other level. Like Star Trek was there for sure, but it was like with training wheels compared to these guys, whatever this group at Disney's doing. But yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, there's a lot to unpack, and I think we just need to start letting Joel unpack it, basically.
Yeah, Joel, give us the skinny, buddy.
Well, okay. So let's go into it, you know, piece by piece, because you know, I'm figuring as a viewer, if you're watching us, if you're paying attention to us, or you're watching this video, there's probably something I can tell you that is probably blink and miss, or it's going to be probably something I had to deep dive to get an answer on. This is to keep you from having to do that work. Mm-hmm. So, or I had to, you know, subject myself to the many interviews this week that were really, really bad. Just
hearts go out to you.
Yeah, his butthole's still raw.
Oh man, This was a bad week. All right, so It's more PR disaster stuff. But let's start with problems on me, and these are problems that I am correcting. So as a
Corrections.
correction for me on which episodes to watch. So if you're actually going to watch the show, if you're going to take the time, I think I said last episode, I said 1, 2, 7, 8. Don't do that. It's 1, 3, 7, 8.
Yeah.
1, 3, 7, 8. You don't have to waste your time with the others. The others are absolute filler and nonsensical, and well, you'll get the idea. The other point that I need to hit on is, although I may be a little bit of a fortune teller, I'm no oracle by any means. Kelnaka did not hit Torben in the face with his lightsaber. Kelnaka clawed Torben's face. So those are the two things. But that was me trying to predict the future back in episode 3.
And we kind of talked about that a little bit the other night too. And I think we were all in agreement at the time, unless y'all have changed your opinions if you've watched it again. We couldn't figure out where there was no claw that we could see, right? There was no actual scene where there was contact with that eye, whether it be a lightsaber or claws.
I think it was a badly telegraphed hit during the earlier combat.
Possibly.
It kind of looked like he did a claw move and then Torben went down. But it really didn't look like it connected that way, right?
Yeah. I mean, I missed it.
Don't worry. I got you. That is the blink and the miss moment. So I will show you step by step what happened there. But if you're ready, it's The Acolyte, episode 7. Name of this episode is Choice. The episode it connects to is episode 3. It was called Destiny. Choice air date was Tuesday, July the 9th, 2024, and it had a total 41-minute runtime. And one of the first thoughts I had about this runtime was that, I bet it seems like it's one of the longest episodes, but there's so much repeated material that it's actually going to be one of the shortest episodes. But I found out different as I went along, which I have not updated Sean and Brian, so this will be the first time.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they'll hear it, but at the same time you hear it.
Yeah, because last time we talked, we anticipated that there was just going to be a tiny bit of extra actual stuff.
Right. And there's actually more than meets the eye. So
because I had said, let's just, before you get into it, I had said that I thought that basically they shot an episode and then just everything that they didn't want us to see was held back. And then when it came to putting episode 7 together, they just inserted these little bit of scenes and boom, there's your new episode.
Right. And we all get the same idea, different shots from previous shows.
Yeah. So, but I have a feeling you're about to clarify that for me.
Right.
Absolutely. So to get on with it, the one-liner, a bitter truth is revealed. IMDb. That's it. A bitter truth is revealed. So they went really short on this one.
They gave up a long time ago.
I think they've officially joined the rest of the crowd and said, bye.
We're done.
Yeah, I think we're done. All right, and I call this now. I know. I don't really want to say this because I don't want to compare something so classic to something as garbagey as this, but I'm going to do it because it's about a classic writer saying something about one of their characters in the story, and it means so much when you put the two together, and you'll get the gist of it. This is the name of my piece, which is, it's basically a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And this show is no modern day Shakespeare, but it does hold really true. Told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. And that's what we've received. We received yet another Rashomon episode, or Rashomon, as Brian would say, or Rosh Hashanah, as Sean would say.
Rosh Hashanah, yeah.
Take your pick. But that's what it is. This is another Rashomon episode, and it is the same, but it is different, and we're going to go through a little bit why. But how do we know which version is the truth? The truth is you don't know. You're not supposed to know. And to sum up a little bit of what we did in 3, you're actually never supposed to know from the viewer point of view. That is why the frustration is real for the viewer. Rashomon is a subjective thing in itself, and you're supposed to come up with the answer on your own. It's supposed to make you question everything that you were looking at all the way through the whole piece. If done improperly, though, you're left with like a very, very big mess. And this episode in particular is a really good example of that mess. I mean, it really, really is. Now, three big questions are set up in this episode. Question one, did Torben commit atrocities to warrant offing himself? Okay. Question two, did Kelnaka deserve the exile from society, which was likely self-imposed by him? And question three, are the Jedi really bad? Are they really, really bad? So those three questions are really heavy in this episode. So let's take Torben. And poor Torben, man, he wow. And I'll go ahead and start switching. Poor Torben and his crying. You see the picture there? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, poor Torben. Outside of being like impetuous, which is probably due to his mind violation, Torben actually did nothing wrong. This is in fact, one of the dumbest things to you can't say it with YouTube, but off yourself with too, because there may be more of an answer here, but we didn't get it in this episode. So basically he's getting his mind screwed with, and I don't think we're going to get an answer in the next episode. So I think poor Torben, I think his character has just been absolutely wasted. I don't think we saw anything. I don't think we saw anything truthful about this. I mean, this caused him to off himself. Really?
Yeah, I know. It made no sense.
Really? This caused that much of a problem that I can't tell you that it did or didn't, but I'm going to declare that in both versions of the show that we've seen, 3 and 7, I didn't see really a lot of stuff that Torben did wrong. So let's head on to Kelnaka, because there's a little bit more going on with Kelnaka.
Right.
Kelnaka. Now, the big deal for us was back then, and not there, but yeah, I'm going to show it to you. This is Kelnaka fight with the saber. We gave you a little preview ahead of time on it. Well, you can see Kelnaka's hand is in Torben's face there.
Yeah.
Well, why would I bring up this book, which is a great book, Timothy Zahn's great book? I had to bring this up because Hedlund started talking. So Kelnaka. Hedlund claims that this was Mad Claw, which is a Wookiee thing. That's a real thing. Mad Claw. Sure. Yeah. Mad Claw was created by Timothy Zahn and his 1991 novel, Heir to the Empire. So Timothy Zahn is the one responsible for this Mad Claw stuff. Zahn introduced the protractable claws of the Wookiees in order to make their tree climbing more realistic. However, he realized that his new addition to the canon back then, and we're talking 1991, caused a discrepancy. Good on Zahn to check it out.
Yeah.
So if the Wookiees indeed had claws, Chewbacca would have used them in the original Star Wars movies. In the following year, the Heir to the Empire source book resolved this discrepancy, explaining that it was a matter of honor that the Wookiees never used their claws in combat, kept them strictly for climbing. Hedlund, in an interview, claimed this is why Kelnaka went into exile. And so I was like, all right. So I got to go check it out again. So I pull up the screenshots. Here we go. So I pull up, here it is. And oh man, you can't really tell, but there are no claw marks on his face in this frame. And literally, if you go back and watch the episode, the next frame is his face clawed up. And I'm like, come on. So there's no claw marks, no blood, no nothing.
In fact, you could see Junius's thumb right there. There's no even claws on it. You see his fingernail. Thumbnail.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to show you. So I was like, do we have a better shot of these fingers? And sure enough, he turns his head sideways, and there's the thumb right here. And it's just, there's nothing there. And I go up here, this finger here, there's no, these are well-trimmed Wookiee fingernails, by the
No
way.
doubt.
Yep. And so I took a closer shot, and there it is, and there's no claw, and there
Yeah.
are no claws on any of this.
Bad claw, not
either
mad
she
claw.
was asked and she made it up in that room, or she just wanted to make it canon, but she wasn't going to give us the, okay. It did not happen in the episode. This is typical for Headland. She's going to do something like this and explain something to us, and why he went into exile was because his claws. And I'm like, he didn't have claws in the episode. You didn't show us claws. He didn't claw his face. There's not even a frame of it. I mean, really, I slowed it down to like, dude, I went back and forth with it for a while. I'm like, it's not there. I mean, I don't get it, but hey,
She's just making shit up as she goes.
I agree.
Man.
I think this is par for the course for Headland, and there's nothing I can do about it. Now,
We all had the same thoughts, right?
yeah,
Like, where were the claws?
they're not there, man. That's crazy. Crazy talk.
And
All
it's
right.
a big point. Like, I mean, it's something that's like very prominent on his face. When we first meet him, I mean, come on, you can't miss something like that. You got to put the seed in there.
Yeah, I mean, if it was that big a deal, it came from Timothy. It's a big lore event. That's 1991. That's
if
again,
it was
messing with stuff in the history. Yeah, I don't put it past her. I mean, I really
Right.
don't. No way. All right, let me move on because we got plenty.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
Just the makeup, it was lazy. There was nothing wrong with the makeup per se, but when you see Torben older, right? I want to see flayed flesh coming off of that, right? Because like he's still got that deep scar. His eye is ruined. That's not just like this superficial stuff.
Which is interesting because his eye looks fine when we see him at the ship later. It's not like it's all jacked up.
Right.
I think it is blinded out. I don't have an image for you.
I
think
was
it is.
looking and I didn't see it. It looked like his same color eye. And later when we first meet him and he's older, it's like grayed out or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I don't know.
I can't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's hard to try and make
I don't
sense.
know,
But yeah, just continue.
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
So number 3 is the Jedi. Are they the bad guys? And this is where we get the major points of contention in the story.
Yeah, I wanted them to be a lot more bad, and they weren't. They
Right.
just kind of bumbled into it.
Right. But in this episode and in episode 3 they were really the good guys, and we got to see the sort of a defensible point of view. In this episode, in episode 7, they're really they're offensible, and if you watch the scenes, there's slight differences and slight different perceptions with what they say, their nuances, their body movements, everything, and they do come off as absolutely bad. So they, in my personal opinion, in this episode, they are absolutely portrayed as unintelligent, moronic buffoons that can't do simple logic. They have proof that all this stuff exists. They don't phone home. I mean, no ET phone home here. They are
You're evil and Endara, right?
Right. They are. Yeah. And they are made out to be absolutely bad in this particular episode. And we are being told in this episode that we need to forgive the Sith or the witches or with a healthy amount of propaganda, nonsensical statements. The witches are justifying their actions. I mean, this gets crazy because it's rash, it's impetuous. It makes them
the colonizers.
right. Yeah, the white colony slavers. Is that what George Lucas calls them? Yeah, it's something like that.
You would think that an organization so focused on being mindful, right?
Yeah.
Would pay more attention. I don't know.
But that's not all. They also, by the end of this episode, they make them out to be liars. They make them out to have overwhelming emotions with Soul and Osha. And I'm like, really? Because this is not like Jedi at all. And then all of this stuff is in this particular episode for no good reason. So I'm having to assume a lot here and say maybe we're being lied to again, which means part 2 to Rashomon is yet again, and I read it to you earlier, you're supposed to come up with your own decision making, and that's part of the frustration of the entire Rashomon bit, and that is a problem. And I go into it a little bit forward more in our talk, but let's get on with the stuff we've got.
It's a very fun thought process to do with material like Usual Suspects, though, right?
It is, but you're getting to see the whole story at that point.
And
it's a little
good
different
material too.
It's different, and it's coherent. It's coherent.
So it's not
material.
always as frustrating as what it's
right. Yeah, I mean, you're asking for it. So let's get past the non-clawed, the declawed Wookiee here. So in this scene, I'm thinking, all right, did the witches die in this episode? And nobody asked Headland this question, and she did her like a roundtable talk, and nobody asked her this question, and we're just left to guess. I mean, we're just going to guess, okay? So here's my best guess, because I looked it up. Did the witches die in this episode? If you go to the audio descriptor, the end of the audio description, it says this line. It says, in the common room, the witches all collapse into a lifeless heap. So in the common room, the witches all collapse into a lifeless heap.
Sounds dead to me.
It is, yeah. To me, that's dead. And this brings up another point, and I said it last episode about the sexy episode. Yeah, I do believe that the audio descriptor, if you turn the dialogue off on the show and you watch the show and just leave just the audio descriptor on, this is a pretty good show with the audio descriptor. It is not bad. It just tells you how bad it is. It's that bad. All right, so I think the AD in the show is actually better than the show's actual dialogue, but and for many reasons. If this is accurate, that would mean this happened. All right. Indara has a power that is unexplained and literally godlike. And no mention of such an unprecedented power exists that I can find. Does not mean it's not there. It could be, but it probably isn't. This is probably made up for the plot to push the event forward, like many other things in this show, which have been just created out of a whim. Oh, look over here. This is happening. Well, let's make it go over there. Okay, well, this is crazy. Which, if that is the case, it doesn't help the fact that she was killed by a butter knife unless she wasn't killed by a butter knife. That's the key thing there. With that much power, Indara can kill all those witches in that room.
Is that like Bastila?
That's impressive. What
from
now?
KOTOR? Is that like Bastila from KOTOR? She had that war power or whatever.
Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember what the power was, but I know she could affect like masses of a large mass area.
I didn't go into KOTOR to find a connection there, but that would be impressive. But that's something. I mean,
yeah. I mean, and she didn't even look like she had exerted it, and like there was no kind of. No, she just had a poker face, man.
No, the AD says something. Indara has pursed her lips. Pursed her lips. That's the words that the AD uses, and I'm like, pursed her lips. And when she does that, she puts her hand up next to Kelnaka's face, and then all of a sudden they just keel over, and I'm like, whoo! I mean, that's
power.
Well, to me, this is one of those. This is a Matrix moment. This is what this is.
Yeah, I almost expected to see them snap before they did that.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't that be? Oh God, that would be horrible. Oh, a bunch of theater people. What are you doing to the theater people? Yeah. But yeah, this makes no sense, and I can't say that it happened or didn't happen, and I can't tell you how she did this at that level with that amount of power, and I don't think anybody else is going to mention it either. But did something happen? Yes, the AD tells us that she did, in fact, wipe out the whole coven,
which is what I
said for Mother Coral. She didn't wipe out Mother Coral. Right. Now, Light of the Jedi. Why do I have to put up Light of the Jedi? Oh. All right. This has a hyperspace disaster that happened in 232 BBY, Light of the Jedi novel. It's a High Republic novel. Headland, in the interview, has since confirmed outside of the show. Of course, she has outside of the show because she didn't want to explain it in the show. And Dar's character around the campfire says there shouldn't be any life on this planet. The reason they're at the planet is to see why there's life on the planet.
Right.
Well, this space disaster is what happened, and this whole solar system, I guess, was going to be affected by it or something like that. It
sounded very Star Trek when they said that.
Right. But Hedlund in that roundtable discussion since confirmed that the disaster had nothing to do with Brendock, and Brendock didn't get touched by any of the debris, which goes back to the Vergence problem. And this is where it leads. This is where it gets weird. The Vergence is in this particular episode.
Right.
In this particular episode. This is where it gets weird.
Bear with me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. So it isn't, the Vergence is not the girls, and although there is the power of two thing and the master and apprentice thing, and I get all that, but the Vergence is the planet, and, and the funnel is coming from the planet and the two moons, and
sure,
it's likely dark side energy. Although we're not told, but it's likely dark side energy.
Yeah, I thought the pit was a Sith pit.
Yeah.
So pit of shit. I mean, it's Sith pit.
So it's likely all that, which is fine. It's just that we have to learn this kind of thing after the fact. And I'm like, couldn't you just put it in the show? Why can't you just have the character actually say a coherent line and tell us, for some reason, this planet wasn't affected by the hyperspace disaster of 232 BBY? Why can't you say that?
It's like those Bibles you get that are annotated, man. It's like, okay, I don't need, like you could have told me that in the Bible, But I mean,
actually, tell me in the line,
Yeah.
but no. But wait, there's more.
Right.
So let's go forward to pick now. This pick, All right. What happened here?
Oh yeah.
Whew. Now this is also
we never seen this before.
Yeah, right. Hedlund in that roundtable interview is saying that Anastasia was now these are her words. She said Anastasia was transforming her body into the Force. And I was like, okay. Well, we've never seen a Force user do such a thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it was a slip of word for Hedlund because it's not the Force anymore. So I put on here after this as a descriptor. So just so you guys know. Yeah. So this is not some spell that she is casting. We are meant to assume that this is to be thought of as a thread power. Not exactly a Force power, but a thread power. I think Hedlund misspoke and said the Force. I mean, she's retconning herself, guys. So I'm like, oh, whatever, and then which this is a great scene, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, she was in mist form when he hit her, and she could easily have gotten out of it. So this is a crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Man. I mean, this shouldn't have happened. This is just poorly written. But moving on. Yeah, and then I had to look for what did they copy? Did they copy anything in this episode? Did they copy any movie or TV show in this episode? Is there an edit paste?
Of course.
Yeah, of course there did. Yeah. So The Good Son from 1993, and I pulled it up. It's a Fandango clip. And I'll press play. But yeah, The Good Son is a story back in 1993 with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood. And in this movie, if you've missed it, I'm about to spoil it for you. It's kind of a one and done movie. People don't like to watch this again because it portrays a bad light on the kid. And I'll tell you why. Macaulay Culkin was the bad kid in this movie. He killed his little brother. He tried to kill his sister. He pushed his mom off the cliff. And then here's mom attempting to save the two kids. And she wants to, and again, the name of the movie is The Good Son. And you'll see she's going to let Macaulay Culkin bye-bye.
Yep.
Right about, no, maybe not. I'll let it play because I don't want you to miss it because you're probably not going to sit there and watch it. But she's, bye, there he goes. Bye. And yeah, it was claimed that
Let's try.
yeah, right.
It's free.
Yeah, good for Fandango.
Yeah.
But I don't, I don't know, man. Could this happen in this show? And yeah, it absolutely did. It's like, oh, it's really, and it's disturbing to me that this had to happen. But let me see if I can pull it up. I'll pull it up right there because I don't know that one is that. But yeah, so this scene,
the
this
Sophie's
scene
choice.
the scene is different in both episode 3 and 7. They're not the same. Soul has a choice here. The bad girl is on the left. The good girl is on the right. Of course, he saves the good girl. What he believes is the good girl. That's who he saves. Now,
and of course, I want to point out that he
Go
could have
ahead.
just lifted both of them up and saved them both easily.
right? Yeah, he could have just
I'm holding scaffolding instead
I
of
think he's
people,
holding,
right?
yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
holding scaffolding up, and he could have saved the kids, both kids at the same time, but he didn't. So you're left to wonder how in the world May here has survived, and likely it's because after that Kelnaka fight,
She's still alive.
good old Mother Coral probably went into mist, which is what we saw, and then she
Right.
possessed the Wookiee, and then after that, we never see her again, and she probably went in here, and you were checking out. Now I've got to bring that back up.
She could have turned her into mist because if you notice
Right.
when
this
Anastasia was
happens-
doing it,
Yeah, he's ahead of me, but you got it.
Yeah.
But Anastasia was trying to protect Osha. Or no, May at this point, because it was in the May in the room. She was trying to protect May at this point, and she was turning May also into this mist.
right?
And it was and Soul took it as a offensive attack. So he didn't know what was going on. He didn't understand what this spell was. He thought it was a spell, but apparently it's not. It's a thread power. But yeah, I mean, he thought something else was going on. It's just I think there's a lot of misinterpretation going on here and very confusing. And again, we're supposed to question what we see. Totally.
Even the characters are confused.
Right. Even the character. Yes, it's all bad. And apparently Headland is confused too in her interviews. You're getting the point here. All right. So, so I'll go ahead and say that we're going to get maybe a snippet or a clip, or we'll probably get a line of dialogue in the next episode that will probably give us this answer, how she survived. And she probably survived by Mother Coral because the rule of murder is, no body, no death. So, she's probably the savior of May at this point. Now, that's pretty much it for the gobbledygook, which is really what it is. I mean, if I didn't sit here and look it up and tell you what just happened, you're certainly going to either blink and miss it or have a problem with it. But
No.
yeah, and before I give my star rating, or before I call it quits and let Brian and Sean have at it, I want to read you guys something, and this is very important. And for Brian, Sean, and I appreciate it too. And I'm kind of a guest here, but I'm trying to be here more as I can. But I do pay attention to the comments section, and for you folks that are new. And you have not seen our episode 3 Rashomon bit, I'm going to read you this, and I think it's important. I don't think the Rashomon effect works in a useful way when spread out over a week, much less 5 weeks. Add to that painting the Jedi in a negative light and overriding essential canon. If they wanted to lose their existing audience, they couldn't have done a better job. Now, that's from a viewer of our episode 3 show in the comments section. And I just want that viewer to know I could not agree with you more on this statement. In fact,
100%.
in 4 more episodes since that episode have now come out, that statement actually rings truer than it did when you typed it.
Yeah.
So I have a final bit, and then I've got my star ranking. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about, fire it up.
God, where do I start, Sean? Please.
No, man. No. Go ahead, dude. Because I'm
Firstly,
so done with this.
I have a big issue with all these Padawan scenes, right? They've peppered some of these lesson scenes throughout, and they do it in all the new franchises, I think. But when I see these interactions, I'm just kind of like, avergence. What is that? Right? It's like, what am I supposed to believe this? Right?
They should be way more educated at that point.
Right. They're in the field. They should have some idea when
They're not
bringing something
younglings.
up. Also, the speeders, we've touched on this. Most of the vehicles in this look horrible.
Horrible.
And they gave us all of 8 seconds with the first speeder and then like a couple more later in the episode. So, yeah, thanks.
Well, they have to pocket some of this money, because they're clearly not spending it all. I mean, like some of the shots, like where Kilnaka comes out, like right after he's come back and he's about to be possessed. Well, he is possessed. And he comes out. It's like he looks like he's literally standing on a stage. The lighting's all different. It doesn't match the atmosphere we've been used to. And there's a lot of shots like that in this episode. The witches sitting there on their little stairs is the same way. It looks like it's just on the edge of a stage or something like that. It's very cheaply done.
Agreed.
I hate all that stuff, man. The ships, like you say, I've already talked about that. It's disgusting. The designer sucks in this show.
I also feel like there was just some bad off-screen direction going on. A lot of times in this episode specifically, Moss felt flat. And I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched Daredevil. She was great in that, but mostly Memento. I mean, she was amazing in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that scene where it was like, I have a Padawan and you do not, that was, like, why?
Yeah, condescending tone coming out of her mouth. Yeah.
Well, not just that, but just the performance from the two actors. We've seen them do better. We know they can do better, right?
Well, I don't know. Given what you're working with, but I kind of wonder if that was improvised and they were trying to make it better. And I'm wondering how many of these lines, if you like a line or two from the dialogue, I wonder if the actor actually just improvised it. And I kind of think JJ here in the middle of the frame here. I think JJ probably did not improvise it, but I bet some of the other actors and actresses did. I bet they did.
It just felt horrible. I've only got a few more points here. I don't know if anybody's been talking about the Princess Bride moment outside, climbing the cliffs of insanity to get inside of the hold there.
Other channels? Other channels talking about it, or just like somebody bringing it up that they did it twice in the same show? Yeah,
right,
yeah, I know.
Like, and then they're talking to the kids, asking what you see, and I'm like, I see an iPad with a clamp on it. But overall, the big thing for me was the music. We've talked before about how like in some scenes you'll have this dialogue where they just went to another movie and said, "Hey, I like this line. Let's plug this out, and this out. Put it in here, and plug this in, and this in, and this in."
Right. Yeah, you talking about the edit, copy, edit, paste. They were doing it with the music as well.
Yeah, there were. I'm going to call out what I caught. I have a whole list of like stuff I knew was like that, but I didn't know where it came from because my ears are not that well developed. But we got Back to the Future. We got a little bit of the original Star Trek stuff. We got some Firefly, some Prince of Persia. We got Indy. We got Ghost in the Shell. And I think that's all I have that I can identify right off the bat. But I'm sure there's more. I swear to God, I heard Kroll at one point. But
I didn't do a deep dive on the music. I went to deep dive into the lore, of course. But
I went back and watched it twice because I was like, I know this, and then I heard it. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
And apparently, I don't know if it's AI or just this particular composer, but it basically what they're doing is they're taking these phrases and they're basically doing the wrestler move on it. The wrestler intro,
just slightly changing
this note and this note out.
No doubt.
And it's very annoying to me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like original material anymore. It sounds like that it's just manufactured out of old material, just rehashed.
That's an important point I want to make about this is like, you can't do that because people will pick up on it. Like I said, there were many that I couldn't identify, but when you compose a piece of music, you purposely fill, sound and not sound, right?
Yep.
You're trying to fill up your bars in a certain manner that's pleasing to the ear. When you mess with that formula, people are aware. You're going to see it a lot, and I hate to stutter while I say this, but you're going to see it a lot. They think the viewer is stupid. They think the average IQ of the viewer that's going to be watching this
is less than 40. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, I mean, sorry.
I don't know. That's all I got on it. Sean, you got something to add, buddy?
The only thing I know is, man, that Ryan at Screen Rant was talking about what a great writer Leslie Headland was, and I almost punched my screen,
right?
Because he mentioned, I don't know which movie it was. I was just trying to look here what she had. About Last Night, I think, is what he was referring to. I've never seen it. She was Sleeping with Other People, Russian Doll, Bachelorette.
Russian Doll was her I think her biggest one as of yet. I think, but I'm not positive. But I think it was right before this.
I mean,
it's pretty rough.
I just can't, man. That's like wrong. I can't believe he said such a thing, dude. I've actually got a whole other different outlook on him now because of this. Because I feel like it's kind of a shill deal. You know, it's like, really? Okay, whatever.
Hey, man, it's fine. I mean, we had what I thought was a shill come out of the shill woodwork. I mean, Brian mentioned her a minute ago, or you did. I don't know who did, but it was about the speeder bikes. Well, I'll repeat it because I've told you to. I might as well tell the audience that when Grace Randolph says your speeder bikes look like crap, you're in really, really, really big trouble. You really are. You really,
they lost
really
her
are.
finally.
Yeah, she
hung
had
in
enough
there till the bitter end too.
She had enough.
Yeah.
I will say this, apparently people are struggling to say something positive about this. I can appreciate that. But we've struggled to find something positive.
I just don't understand why you have to say something positive. If there's nothing positive to say, you don't have to say it.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't
know.
disagree.
It's broadcasting stuff, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Just tell you, I mean, like, people come here for our opinions, supposedly over somebody else's opinion, or maybe multiple people's opinions. They like getting a bunch of different people's.
Right.
You know, and I like to think we're saying something different. And if everybody's just saying, you know, the same stuff and agreeing, oh, this is great, you know, and it's not, or vice versa, like, this is crap, you know, and then you got the few that are trying to make out like it's something grand they're doing. I mean, it's just insulting, man.
Yeah.
It's just a whole other mindset that I just can't even wrap my head around. Like, how do you do that?
Well, likely you're getting paid, but I would say Grace Randolph's check ran out before the last episode came out. I think Grace's check ran out. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. I just think it's that blue shirt says it all.
Right.
But anyway, let's do the stars, man. Let's get done with that.
I got one more picture to put up, and let me do my
a very important picture.
I won't give you the stars, but I've got one more picture that goes up with the paragraph.
I got no stars to give anyhow.
Yeah. All right, so I
the Sith hole.
Yes. So I am. Yes. And I start out my sentence. This picture is definitely inspirational for me. They have dug such a deep hole with this story. I think it will affect Disney and Lucasfilm dearly. The ratings dropped to a point lower than any other Star Wars technically this week. Their Nielsen ratings have dropped off. I think the Rotten Tomatoes score is frozen. I think Rotten Tomatoes probably is holding that one back. There's no proof whether they are or not, but I'm 100% sure that the show doesn't warrant that score that it's got. The Jedi are no longer to be trusted and should be feared. The bad are now good. The good are now bad. This show will likely be shelved and forgotten to remove these ideas from ever existing. It breaks the lore and the canon on a scale that is beyond repair. This ode, to finish and I think that's what it is. It's an ode to finish what Rian Johnson had started was not the way to go, honoring him and such. The show itself is a monstrosity of verbal nonsense. The scenes are not memorable by any means in a good way. The cinematography won't be winning any awards in a positive way. The plot is not something unlike a child would say incoherently during a sugar rush. The only mystery I really can see is where did the $180 million go? There is no redeeming value in telling of this story, so much of it so that if you read into the story, just on the surface level, you would come up to the conclusion that you would never want your kids to have anything to do with Star Wars. The entire arc of this show is a detriment to children. It creates a bleak, empty, incoherent landscape that leaves you feeling nothing for the characters in it. The show itself should have never been made. And that's my bit. The whole is what I call that paragraph. But yeah, if you're not going to give me the stars, I will. I'm going to retcon my episode 3 score, which I told you I might do, and take away the point. So now both episode 3 and episode 7 carry the score of 0 for me. So that's a goose egg, another hole in a number. 0, please. And are we going to get answers next episode? The only way that I think we get answers next episode is if all of a sudden, and there's no way this is happening, but I'll give her an out. Sure. I'll let her, if you hear this, I'll give you an out. If you make an hour and a half show that I'd say 45 minutes to an hour of it is complete CGI, and I'll see where you spent the money. I'll see what happened to the money, and I'll see what the story is doing. If you give us answers that are crushing this story apart, which is you've separated the Rashomon episodes so far apart, nobody can come up with a coherent decision on what is real, what is not real. Is there going to be some more falsehoods thrown at us? I don't know. But you can go from 0 to hero with one single out. If your next episode is explanatory and has a lot of CGI, then that would explain it.
Well, I don't even need all the CGI, but they definitely, they need to do at least an hour and a half, just so I know they're going to have time to explain all this, because they need 2 more episodes, because they need to cover for what they didn't do in episode 7.
Yeah,
they can't bring it all together in episode 8 and give me what I expect to get. And I obviously expect way too much, and I'm not giving it any stars. There's nothing to give on this episode. Like you took all yours away. Brian, your stars?
Oh yeah, same boat. 0 stars. None of what we just said matters to Disney. Is the point? They're focused on new voices, new talent. This is not the way. We've established that. 0 stars, and do better. Keep a nerd in the loop.
Yeah, I can't wait to see episode 8, because I'm just all this anticipation, and it's going to come up to nothing. I just know it is. So
yeah,
big
reveal that will be just kind of like, eh.
Yep. Well, hopefully they do something with Manny's character. That's all I can hope for, because that's all I care about, really.
They have to kill him. They have to keep lore accurate, which they have not this entire show. But to keep it accurate, pretty much everybody has to die. Almost everybody. And all the record of this has to be expunged to make the lore continue. And all the Jedi have to be good again, because who wants their kid to go to the Disney park and see the Jedi and run in fear because they're liars and they're child abductors and you get it? You get the problem here? This is actually cutting Disney's own throat with this material. This is why this material is going to get shelved, is because once somebody...
That's what I'm saying. They don't care.
Yeah, I don't know that they care.
Nothing you're saying is wrong. They just don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, but as soon as mommy says, well, "Why is my son in love with the evil characters? Why does my daughter want to go talk to all the evil princesses? I don't understand. What's going on?" "Oh, ma'am, that's our material. That's the way we write our TV shows and movies these days. The evil person is the good person now, ma'am." And I'm like, wow, really?
If it affects their money, that's the only way they'll change.
Well, they got a lot of money from the Descendants, which kind of took that narrative.
Yeah, well. Yeah, we'll see, guys. One more week of this crap, and then we can move on to hopefully better things. But
hopefully,
yeah. Until then, guys, remember to always be excellent to each other. If you got this far and you enjoy what you saw, leave us a comment. Tell us, what you thought. Hit the like on the way out. Hit the subscribe on the way out. Thank you so much, guys. And remember, as always, Brian, Joel, and I will see you on the flip side.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you so much, guys. Here comes your retcon.